Hey guys, it's Timmy, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited, as we are here on the 28th of April, 2021, to talk about everything that went down tonight on AEW Dynamite. And as you can tell, a little flustered up right now. Nothing wanted to work properly before we went live, and it's still not working 100%. Camera doesn't look right, too bright. Microphone muted itself for some reason. I don't know what the hell's going on. I even tried to get a new camera. That camera was looking like garbage. So tech issues always happening, but it's all good. Trying to upgrade my stuff and it not working properly. We go back to the old stuff, and because I changed settings for the new stuff, it messed up the old stuff, but we'll be fine. We're here. We're talking Dynamite. I enjoyed the show. I thought it was pretty good. And yeah, it did exactly what it needed to do, I think, for the most part, to build up to Blood and Guts next week. That is not just a one-match show. There is actually, let me double-check this, there are actually 5 matches. 5 matches announced for next week's AEW Dynamite. And we'll just talk about it now because it didn't really tie into much that happened tonight. Moxley's defending the freaking New Japan title on Dynamite against, well, a New Japan wrestler. Give me 1 second, guys. So if you guys didn't see it, I'm going to pull it up right here. Let's see. Come on, Twitter. Twitter just does not want to load properly, and it likes to freeze up and likes to be a bitch, some may say. But as we've got right here, let's pull this up on the other screen. We'll talk about this for a moment. With the IWGP United States Championship on the line, Jon Moxley will be defending that title against Yuji Nagata. Now, they've been building this up for, let's say, 2 months now, maybe a little bit longer. And yeah, and building this up for a couple of months. I just assumed it would be like the Kenta match to take place on New Japan Strong. But no. Nagata is actually coming in to Dynamite on May 12th. Which, let me check something here. That's in 3 weeks, I assume. That is, let's see. In 2 weeks. So, ooh, interesting. AEW is doing 2 live weeks in a row. That's very interesting because they haven't done that in a while. 2 live weeks in a row. It's usually do a live show that Thursday next, film the what's it called? Film the next week's show. So that's very interesting. Well, let's get our polls going here while we let some more of you jump in. And I think I know why they may be doing 2 live shows in a row. I mean, my reasoning probably isn't quite accurate, but maybe they do the Blood and Guts. There's 2 rings there, the big old cage and everything. And they maybe don't have the time to take everything down the next day. They probably would, but I don't know. It's just a thought. So we'll see if we hear anything else to why it's actually going to be live the next 2 weeks or not. I don't know. Also, I'm interested to see this rating tomorrow because, yes, it was a good episode of Dynamite, but AEW went directly up against the President of the United States, speaking to Congress and the nation. So that could hurt them. I believe news and stuff like that has hurt AEW more than other wrestling shows over the last year or so. So we'll see how that pans out. For some reason, the poll did not want to post on Twitch. Let's try this again. What did you think of tonight's Dynamite? Liked it. It was all right. I really just need to get some moderators to help us out in these chats to get the polls going for me. All right, the poll is live. I think. Let's see. Yes, the poll did post that time on Twitch. Get it up on YouTube really fast. But next week's show is going to be an interesting one. We'll get into it more when we talk about what was all fully announced for next week's show, because it ties into a number of things from tonight's show. All right. Poll is live on YouTube as well. Juan Orozco says 3,000 fans are expected at Blood and Guts. Last I heard was they were putting 2,500 tickets on sale, and they weren't expected to sell them all. So I don't know where you got the 3,000 number, but last I heard, which was Monday, they put between 1,500 and 2,000 tickets on sale. Not sure if they all sold, but the end goal was to try and sell upwards of 2,500, but they knew that they probably wouldn't get it. So we'll see. We'll see. For the show itself, started off with Taz joining commentary because the first match of the night was Hangman Page versus Brian Cage, and Page was attacked during his entrance and beat down by all of Team Taz until the Dark Order ran out and made the save. Cage planted Page with a powerbomb on the ramp before the match got underway. So Page is hurt throughout this whole match, but he fought that valiant fight. Cage continued to beat down with stomps, strikes, and suplexes. Taz was great on commentary, breaking down the different throws and suplexes that Cage was deploying. He spilled to the floor where Cage repeatedly thrusted Page into the barricade before dropping him with a back suplex on the apron. Back in the ring, Cage taunted Page by curling him with an overhead throw. But Page got his knees up on a standing moonsault attempt, and Page escaped to the apron, but he was met with a thrust kick before Cage suplexed him back into the ring the hard way for a 2. Page then countered a suplex and some strikes before sending Cage to the floor. Cage caught Page with a lariat, a lariat and a plancha, but Page was able to fight out, and Cage sent Cage into the ring post. Back in the ring, Cage countered the buckshot lariat into a power slam before following it up with a power bomb, a buckle bomb, and a drill claw to, yes, pick up the victory in about a 6-minute match. First loss of the year to Hangman Page. So very interesting that it's Brian Cage, the one that gives Hangman his first loss here. Very interesting to see. I wonder what they're doing with Cage. They got to have some sort of a plan. So then we get the Elite. Omega, Callis, Young Bucks, Good Brothers. We're in a big limousine celebrating after Omega's title victory. Omega said that he used the people trying to ruin their lives. Wait. Omega said, that he's used to people trying to ruin their lives. Like after what Moxley and Kingston tried to do with destroying their trailer. He said they're not going to be intimidated or even scared. However, a horn went off and everyone jumped. Ah! But it was just Michael Nakazawa, or who they're now calling, I believe, MT Nakazawa. Yes, MT Nakazawa. Calling him MT Nakazawa. He said he pushed the wrong button on the vehicle. Omega said Kingston would come face to face with Nakazawa later tonight. Don Callis was enjoying commentary for the Young Bucks match. It was the Young Bucks versus Matt Matt Sydal and Mike Sydal. And here's the thing. They call this a AEW World Tag Team Championship Eliminator Match. And I guess Tony Schiavone tried his best to explain what that means. Apparently, an Eliminator Match is when you're a not top 5 ranked tag team and you're given the opportunity to earn a tag title shot. And this goes for any title. To earn a title shot. But to earn that shot, you got to beat the champions. So an Eliminator Match means the stipulation is if you can beat the champions, then you automatically get another shot or another match with the champions, but this time for the title on the line. Very convoluted and not needed. Like, fuck, what's the rankings for then? If you're just going to throw this thing out there. I mean, the Bucks won anyway, so what does it matter? Just call it a fucking regular tag team match. I get it. You're trying to be cute, adding the Eliminator title to it. Just like when Matt Sydal took on Kenny Omega and called it an Eliminator match. It's not needed. It's not needed at all. Just call it a non-title match and get over it. So Mike and Matt Jackson started off. Mike landed a standing moonsault right away, forcing Nick to tag in. So Mike tagged in his brother as well. Matt Sydal out-wrestled Nick, getting across the fact that he's added some submissions to his game since joining AEW. The Sydal brothers landed stereo drop kicks, but Matt Jackson made the blind tag and took Mike out with a super kick. And fucking Matt Jackson is just trying way too hard to be a heel, but not only to be a heel, but he's trying way too hard to be a heel that you're not supposed to like. And you can tell he's trying too hard. But through a break, the Bucks dominated the Sydals before performing twin magic after a double down. Matt Jackson kept up after feigning an injury, but Mike fought out to reach his brother for the hot tag. Matt ran wild on everybody before crushing Matt Jackson, the other Matt, with a brainbuster for a 2. Matt Jackson countered Matt Sydal into a perfect indie taker position, but the latter fought out and landed a standing corkscrew moonsault. After a dive from both Sydals, Matt Sydal hit a Hurricane Rana on both Bucks and applied a crucifix pin for a near fall. Matt Sydal landed a leaping Hurricane Rana on Nick, but a second on Matt was countered, and he was sent crashing to the mat. A lot of Matt. Matt this, Matt that, the Matt in this match. Mike tagged in and ran into a low blow with the official distracted. The finish came down to the Bucks super kicking Matt Sydal off the apron before killing Mike with the BTE trigger to pick up the victory. But with that, the Young Bucks defeat the Sydals. Just call it a fucking non-title match. Or don't even say anything. Just say, the Young Bucks are in action tonight when they take on the Sydal brothers. You don't even have to say, in a non-title match. You don't even have to. It's just like, no. So after the match, Brandon Cutler came into the ring, and he did that cold spray stuff on the Young Bucks to help their joints. They tried to make it seem like he's their athletic trainer. So I don't know. I don't get it. It's dumb. Also, did I miss something on Dark? Why is he wearing a fucking face mask? I know on BTE they said, you broke your face. Wear this for a while. I don't know. SCU would then come out, Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels. Kazarian recapped, they haven't lost since saying, quote, if we lose, we break up. He said they want tag title shots. Daniels was excited to wrestle their old-time friends, but the Bucks that they knew weren't here. All he sees are a couple little bitches. So they're the number 1 contenders, and they're ready for the Bucks to sign on the dotted line and make this match happen. Basically, Christopher Daniels made it seem like the Young Bucks have been ducking SCU, and I guess you could say trying to not let that match happen. We got another Jade Cargill video where basically she said, I don't need a manager. Everyone wants to sign me, but then they want to take 10% of whatever I make. So no one's taking my money because I'm that bitch. Okay. I wonder if they make a shirt that says, she's the bitch. Or she's that bitch. Because she keeps saying, I'm that bitch. I wonder if they would make a shirt that says that. Next up, we had Orange Cassidy with Penta El Zero against Penta El Zero Miedo. Penta had Alex Abrahantes with him again. Abrahantes does the whole Penta says Pentagon says, Penta says, you're already getting old and annoying and dumb. I just don't care for Alexander Handtans. I never thought he was funny on BTE. And I don't think he's that entertaining here. So they both did their shtick. Penta did the whole, and Orange Cassidy tried to do the hands up, and then down in the pockets, and Penta stopped him a couple of times. Cassidy went for the beach break early, and Penta went for a package pile driver early, but both were countered as Penta eventually hit a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. At one point, Penta caught Cassidy off a tope suicida and just dumped him on the apron, going into a commercial break. Once back, Penta landed multiple Gamma girls. I think it's that you say Gamma girls, Gammon girls. That's how I heard it. I don't know if that's right. And then he was met with a crossbody by Cassidy. Penta countered a DDT into a brainbuster for a 2. Kenta fired up with right hands, but Penta turned the orange punch into a pump handle driver for a 2. I like that little counter combo there. It looked like Penta was able to hit the arm snap spot, but Orange Cassidy fought to put his hand in the pockets. He traded thrust kicks, and Penta countered the orange punch again, this time to a thrust kick and a destroyer. Penta tried for the package pile driver, but Cassidy turned it into a beach break for a 2. At one point, where was it? Cassidy hit the Slumdog Millionaire out of a brainbuster attempt, and then a DDT, and then a spinning DDT. Got a 2 for Cassidy. Abrahantens then grabbed the mic and started cutting a promo. Penta said such about, if you thought what did he say? If you thought what Penta said last week about Trent's mom was bad, and then he says something, I don't remember exactly, about Orange Cassidy. And the distraction allowed Penta to hit a thrust kick. Cassidy escaped and grabbed the mic from Trent. He then hit a mic-assisted orange punch to pick up the victory. Who's the heel? Like, you shouldn't have your baby face having to use a foreign object to win. That's just, no, that's something stupid WWE would fucking do. Just saying. In the back, Tony Schiavone interviewed Brit Baker and Rebel. Baker is now the top of the food chain, as she said. She says she's at the top for merch, ratings, demographics, and now the women's division. She said she was signed to be the face of the division, and now it's time for her to be the champ. We then had the parlay in the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle. I thought this was really good. I enjoyed this. Spears is it's Sean Spears. I mean, his promo wasn't the best, but overall everything was good here. Blood and Guts, of course, next week. Not a one-match show as they were once saying. Sorry, I got distracted by something in the chat, which I will talk about that, Waylon. Schiavone hosted this, bringing out the Pinnacle first, and then the Inner Circle, whose security detail came out on motorcycles. Schiavone discussed the rules of the match. It's just War Games. It's just War Games, and they ain't doing anything different that they didn't do back in WCW. They're not making any changes, it seems like. It's Dusty made these rules, and this is what we're going with. So they were about to have a coin toss to say who should have the advantage and who enters first. Spears would interrupt and say the Pinnacle deserves the advantage for calling out Guevara, saying that he'd step on his head while he drowns. Guevara took the mic and called Spears a failure, both in AEW and, quote, where he used to work. But it's like, if you're going to say that about Sean Spears, what about that man standing next to you, old Jake Hager? He came from the same place and was fired. At least Spears had the foresight to get out of there before he was fired. Just saying. Guevara said that he'd start this match, and he doesn't care who has the advantage. And then the Pinnacle got the advantage. Cash Wheeler spoke next, saying that he wants a different version of Santana and Ortiz at Blood and Guts, not the sanitized version that follows Jericho around like their puppy. Harwood said that he's not afraid to die. Before talking about Santana and Ortiz's kids, he recommended that they tell their kids, "Daddy ain't coming back home." That was a great line, the way he delivered it. Ortiz calmed down his partner, and Santana said FTR would be locked in a cage with them. That ain't good. FTR had never been locked in anything with them. He also said FTR have not been locked up like we have. MJF would then address Jericho. He thanked him for putting over his AEW career so far. However, Jericho must be feeling a lot of pressure. If Jericho doesn't do well, he could be affecting the food on the table of every man and woman in this company. He said Jericho looks exhausted. So next week, MJF will take Jericho's crown and replace Jericho as the top of the mountain. He said when that happens, he will thank Jericho once again. Jericho would go on to call MJF a quote, self-righteous, self-gratifying little prick. He said MJF can't just inherit a spot. When Jericho was 25 years old, he'd already headlined arenas around the world in Japan and Mexico, but he'd learned that respect is what was required. Is what was required to gain that top spot. He said if MJF wants Jericho's spot, he's got to beat him. And I go, isn't that what MJF said he's going to do when they win next week? When he beats you? He said, we are blood and guts, as the Inner Circle have been together since day one. He said, if 1969 was a summer of love, 2021 is a summer of pain and violence. At Blood and Guts, summer starts early for MJF. I thought this was great. I thought it really hyped up what this needed to be. I expected more of, hey, we're going to talk about the rules. Hey, we're going to figure everything out, but they just got that out of the way in the first minute, and then guys cut promos. Cool. They had Eddie Kingston versus Nakazawa, but it actually never happened. Kingston cut a promo before the match saying that he wasn't doing this sports entertainment crap. Well, Nakazawa, get out of the ring. Omega walked out and said that they should be paying Kingston back for what he and Moxley did. Nakazawa attacked Kingston with a laptop, but Kingston countered it into an exploder suplex and a spinning back fist. Kingston wrapped a chain around Nakazawa's leg and demanded that Omega get in the ring or he'd break his ankle. Omega and Nakazawa knew that he signed what he signed up for before bringing out Brandon Cutler, who had already been attacked by Jon Moxley when he ran out. Moxley choked Omega with a sleeper hold, told Callis he wants a tag match with Omega and Nakazawa. Callis obliged, and the match is set for next week. So it is, as they're calling him, and it is, I was going to pull it up, but we don't need to pull up the graphics. MT Nakazawa and Kenny Omega against Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. So, cool. I think here's the thing. I think Double or Nothing should be Eddie Kingston and Moxley challenging for the tag titles against the Bucks. But if they lose here to Omega, I think there's going to be some screwy finish. I really think there is. Or Nakazawa takes the pin. And Nakazawa takes the pin. Omega doesn't look bad in defeat because he gets distracted by something. I don't know. But I think Kingston and Moxley have to get the win here. Taz was being interviewed by Shivani, talked about Brian Cage being the new #1 ranked guy in AEW, which I'd have to look at the rankings. I don't think that's true. But Taz really just wanted to talk about Christian Cage, who, well, at that moment, just randomly had to show up. Christian said that Taz used to be one of the baddest dudes in all of wrestling, but now he basks in the accolades of his associates just so he can feel like he is good again. Taz doesn't, he said Taz doesn't come back to wrestle, but Christian did. Christian is happy to take out Team Taz one by one. He said, what did he say? You live on win or lose. I live on win and learn. He said, last week, Powerhouse Hobb learned a lot. He said, if Ricky Starks wants to face me, he'll learn a lot as well. Didn't mention facing Cage. Cage versus Cage. Next up, we had Chris Statlander versus Penelope Ford. This is an all right little match here. Bladen strikes early as they went to blows quick. Statlander landed a power slam and a press slam. Ford came back with a knee drop, but Statlander rolled out of the way, forcing Ford's knee into the apron. Statlander booted Ford onto the floor, but a distraction from Sabin, Kip Sabian that is, allowed Ford to hit a knee drop. After a commercial break, the two exchanged forearms until Statlander hit a lariat STO. Statlander attacked in the corner with a running knee bar and a blue thunder bomb for a 2. Ford came back with a diving blockbuster for a 2. Statlander came back on her own with a solar eclipse for a 2. The finish came down with Statlander laying in from ground and pound. He had a high kick, or took a high kick from Ford. Ford went for a handspring move, but Statlander countered into a Big Bang Theory. Sabian tried to cause a distraction of the referee. Orange Cassidy stopped him, allowing Statlander to pick up the victory. This wasn't the last time we saw Kip tonight. Kip got his ass beat. Preston Vance, or 10, cut a promo ahead of his TNT title match tonight. He talked about his memories with Mr. Brody Lee, as well as wanting to bring the title back to the Dark Order. I thought this was nice. Very nice. Almost wonderful, some may say. They got trios action, or six-man tag, whatever AEW wants to call it. Trios action. Well, AEW officially calls it trios matches, but then you got Jim Ross. We got a six-man tag team match here. Oh, that's a flash. The two teams fought before the bell, with each member pairing off against another. Eventually, the Factory isolated Gunn in the ring. And oh, yeah, Factory all came out of Cody's fucking big-ass bus with his fucking tattoo on the side of it. Anyways, the isolated Gunn, who had his ribs taped up from the gut punch from Anthony Ogogo. So they're really selling that Anthony Ogogo can punch you in the belly, he gonna hurt you. Where it's like, okay, if this was like a straight punch to the jaw or a punch to the face, I can see that getting over as a finish. But just a punch to the midsection, knocking people out, I don't know if that's going to get over as a finish. I really don't. So Dustin tagged in and faced off with Camarado. He hit his drop-down right-hand uppercut deal before being flattened with the back elbow, leading to a commercial break. Throughout, the Factory dismantled Dustin with frequent tags and double-team moves. Once back, Dustin hit a power slam, allowing him to reach Johnson for the hot tag. Johnson ran wild on everybody, concluding with a back elbow into a neck breaker, followed by a kip up. It was just Johnson and Solo in the ring, and somebody needs to help me out here. Has Aaron Solo actually even been freaking signed? I don't think he has. I haven't seen the Aaron Solo is all elite graphic. It's like a Red Velvet situation. Getting used really well and pushed. They won't commit. They eventually did with Red Velvet, but they won't commit. Where were we? Johnson hit a blue thunder bomb for a 2. Johnson fought off Solo and Camarado before landing a corkscrew dive. But the official was distracted. The Go-Go killed Johnson and Gunn with more gut punches. Just took him out. Kick-cow! Kick-cow! What is this, Mortal Kombat? Finish him! Anyways, punch was enough for Marshall to pin Lee Johnson and pick up the victory. After the match, Camarado attacked Dustin with a cowbell of all things. With a cowbell of all things to Dustin Rhodes. You can attack the Natural with a cowbell? What is this, 1992? Factory walked to the back, but Marshall decided to taunt some more. Then he was attacked by the Gun Club. The Factory ran out and brawled with the Gun Club as Marshall walked out to the Nightmare Express bus. Yeah, Cody thinks he's Lex. Cody thinks he's Rick. Cody thinks he's Dustin. Cody thinks he's all these old guys. So he's got to have the Nightmare Express. This, though, where he was met by Cody, a quote-unquote returning Cody Rhodes. And I go, oh, yeah, I guess we haven't seen Cody in a while. Huh, Why was he gone? Well, when was the last time we actually saw? Hold on. Cody Rhodes. I don't know if this is going to be the last time he was on Dynamite, but I can tell you when his last match was. Cody's last match was April 9th. Oh, that's not even long ago. No. So, okay. So Cody's last match was April 9th at the house show, the Friday house show. His last Dynamite match was 25th? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. 24th it would be. Cage match, you're wrong. March 25th was a Thursday. We didn't get a Thursday Dynamite recently, did we? No. So it's the 24th. Okay. Cage match got a date wrong here. Cagematch.net. But it looks like the last time we saw Cody was when he had the exhibition against QT on the 24th of March. So Cody's only been gone for a month, if that. His last match was the 9th, and I guess we haven't seen him since. Okay. It's like in WWE. Bobby Lashley was gone for a week. He's making his big return. Yeah, whatever. So, Cody meets Marshall by the bus, and QT thinks, I'm going to run away by going to the roof. But that was not smart. Cody followed him up there and took him down, and then applied the figure 4. Marshall frantically tapped. As the show cut away. Then they got stuff announced for next week's Blood and Guts show. Cody will be taking on QT, not in an exhibition, but a real match. Kenny Omega and MT Nakazawa will be taking on the team of Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. Brit Baker DMD will be in action. And we will be getting an AEW Tag Team Eliminator 4-way. Which, again, what? You've got a top-ranked tag team. Why do they have... I'm just going to say it. Fuck the AEW rankings. Why do you have a top-ranked tag team that you keep saying is the number 1 top-ranked tag team, but then they got to earn their title shot? What the fuck is the rankings for then? It's SCU, Jurassic Express, Varsity Blondes, and the Acclaimed. And apparently the winner gets a title shot. Huh? SCU literally came out an hour earlier and said, we're the number 1 ranked tag team. We're ready to face you guys for the titles. All you got to do is agree. Put your name on that dotted line. So, why do they got to earn it now in a eliminator match? And is this an elimination match? I highly doubt it because they got to get this match over with next week. They can't just let this drag out. Sometimes AEW tries to get too cute for their own being. They really stifled themselves when they said, we're going to have rankings and make this feel like a real sport. And yeah, I give it to them. They've committed to it, but they've stifled themselves and proven it more times than not that these rankings were a bad idea to go 100% all in on. Because, well, yeah, they tried to go 100% all in on them, but at the same time, you still got other motherfuckers getting shots. Like, huh? Like, who was that guy a couple of weeks ago that faced Darby? That, like, had, 4 wins or whatever. Not even ranked. The guy that teams with Nemeth. Hold on. His name's on the tip of my tongue. JD Drake. Like, fucker ain't ranked. The hell's he getting a tag title shot or a TNT title shot? Butcher ain't ranked. Butcher, when the last time the Butcher had a damn singles match in AEW? Tag match. Tag match. In 2021, he had 2 singles matches before the Darby match. It don't make sense. Thank you, Broken King Slender and Chris Douglas. Yes, JD Drake. It doesn't make sense. Now, since Saturday says, what was 10? 10 wasn't ranked. Apparently, he was ranked 5th, but not last week. So I don't know what happened here, how they confuddled this. But when they announced this match last week, they said TNT title will be on the line, Darby Allin versus 10. 10 was not ranked when they announced the match, but apparently tonight he was the 5th ranked wrestler on the AEW roster. The fuck? I'm over it. I'm going to complain about it till they fucking end it. Because it just doesn't make any sense to continue it. And as we already talked about, in 2 weeks, the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship will be on the line when Jon Moxley defends on Dynamite against Yuji Nagata. Then, we go to the back. Cameras caught up with Kip Sabian, where he tried to talk to Miro. And Miro just beat the ever-loving piss out of this little motherfucker. Miro threw him into a garage door. Miro threw him into a metal, locker. Miro beat the shit out of him. Then, weirdly enough, Miro grabs him by the arm, steps out the door, pulls the door, and fucking basically breaks Kip's wrist between the doors. Then he walks over and he hugs Kip and goes, "Thanks for the talk." What? He's like, "I'm sorry, thanks for the talk." The fuck? I mean, this is the Miro we've been wanting to see. Full all out, brutal, I'm gonna just fuck anybody up Miro. But this made no sense. What? He's mad that he had to do the Arcade Anarchy match? Is that what it was? He said he didn't want to do it, but Kip had the match made, so he was obligated to do it. He didn't have to show up. So I don't know why he's so mad at Kip. He said, "I did your Anarchy arcade match. Then I hear nothing from you. I'm going to whip your ass." What the f... Like I said, great episode of Dynamite. Couple things I didn't really get and like. But other than that, I liked this show. Like the main event itself. The body of this main event was really good. The wrestling between Darby and 10. But why does there always have to be? Darby main events almost every week now. He's main evented, I think this is his 4th or 5th week in a row. And there's always some sort of fucking bullshit. They established that 10 had the power early on in this match. Allin tried to out-wrestle the bigger man, but he was flattened with a shoulder block that turned him inside out. Allin fought out of a suplex and clawed 10's mask, but 10 powered out with the backbreaker. Allin took 10 down with the chop block, but 10 shrugged it off and then sent Allin crashing to the mat as we went to commercial. Back from the break, 10 press slammed Allin to the mat before powering out of a triangle hold with a powerbomb. Allin came back with a stunner and applied a Fujiwara armbar. 10 tried to escape, but Allin rolled through and reapplied the armbar in the center of the ring, forcing 10 to fight to reach the ropes. He spilled to the floor where 10 regained control, sending Allin into the barricade. Upon re-entry, however, Allin hopped on the top rope and dove onto 10 and Allin angles with a flipping senton. Sting then sent Dark Order. No. I think it was what Stu Grayson went to check on them. Sting got involved and said, "Don't touch him. Leave him alone." They recovered, and then all of a sudden Ethan Page would show up, attack Darby, throw him into the ring post, and throw him back into the ring. Ken gets in the ring, because the referee didn't see any of this. He was dealing with Sting and Stu. And 10 gets in the ring, and he's, "What happened? How's Darby down? What happened to Darby?" "Oh, well, I'm going to take the advantage." Wheelbarrow German suplex. Darby kicks out. Allin came back by tearing at the mask of 10, but 10 caught Allin on a coffin drop attempt. He turned it into a full Nelson. Allin faded, but did that rebound where you run up the ropes, jump, push back off the ropes. Your guy is now stuck in his submission, can't let go. You got his shoulders down, bada bing, bada boom. But I got something here that I want to talk about. Were the shoulders actually up for one Mr. Preston Vance, as we look at this right here? Now, it could be the camera angle, and I could just be off. I could be wrong. But look right here. Look at that shadow off that shoulder. Look at that shoulder right there. Not on the mat. So, Tony Khan likes to do right. Are we going to get a rematch? I don't know. But it could be the camera angle, and I could be completely wrong here. But it does look like Ken's shoulder was not down. His right shoulder, I believe. Left shoulder. I think. No, right shoulder. So, I don't know. We'll see if that becomes a thing or not. After the match, though, Darby was attacked by Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. Sky dismantled Allen's leg. No, Sting's leg. Until Lance Archer would run out to make the save, and the show goes off the air. So, cool. They've been teasing something with I think this is all just going to lead to a tag team match. Darby and Sting against Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. And neither of them get a title shot. Like, they're gonna keep attacking the champ only to get a match with Sting. And then not even get a title shot. So, fun show. I really did enjoy tonight's Dynamite for the most part. There are a couple things I kind of thought was, nah. But that's with everything. Every show is going to have a nah spot in it for the most part. So, now, you know what I thought? Let's see what you guys thought. As far as the Twitch poll does go. Also, remember, if you want to be part of the show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, that number is 510-906-1341. 83% of you on Twitch liked tonight's show. Only 17% disliking it. As far as the YouTube poll does go, 76% of you did like it. 16% thought it was just all right. And 9% did not like it. But now, let's go to the text messages. Got a couple. And more now coming in. First, it says, do you see Penta as a future AEW World Heavyweight Champion? No. Gotta say it right now, no. It says, why didn't AEW show Kenny wearing the Impact Championship? The Good Brothers showed their tag team championships. Hey, this is the thing that we've all been ranting about forever. There's no rhyme or reason. Why didn't they actually properly plug the title versus title match on the Impact pay-per-view? Because they don't fucking care. They'll put it on their graphic, but they don't care enough to put it on TV. First says they need to put Cody and Ethan Page in a tag team and call them All Egos. Boy, if you only knew the stories I've heard. This person says, do you think SCU wins the Eliminator and loses the titles to split SCU? Yes. SCU will stay together until they lose to the Young Bucks. That's exactly what the plan is. They will stay together until they finally lose to the Bucks, which could be honestly, I could see them doing it a Double or Nothing maybe now that. So let's see. Next week's the number one contender match, the 5th. Then you have the 12th, the 19th. When's Dynamite? When's Double or Nothing again? 29th, I want to say. 29th. So you've got 1, 2, 3 episodes of Dynamite between next week's Blood and Guts and the pay-per-view. Now, they could always go Blood and Guts. They become the number one contenders. Boom, the 12th, they get the title shot the next week. And then that's 2 weeks to build up maybe Kingston and Moxley challenging. I don't know. Because I think there's money in Kingston and Moxley challenging the Young Bucks for the tag titles. And the Good Brothers or somebody screwing Kingston and Moxley. They only move on to Kingston and Moxley versus the Good Brothers or whatever. So, I can maybe see them doing SCU getting the title shot at the pay-per-view only because it would be a big moment on pay-per-view. Oh my God, they lost. Oh my God, they have to break up. Oh my God, what's next for Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels? They're no longer SCU. And never mind, I'm not going to say it. I was just going to say, Tony Khan killing SCU. I mean, they already pulled Scorpio Sky. Now they're going to just kill the whole faction that these guys built. No more SCU. I mean, we ain't getting that no more. This person says, Is Lance Archer up in a group with Darby and Sting? I don't know what the hell. It at first seemed like Lance wanted to fight Sting. Then he wanted a title shot. And then he wanted to fight Sting again. And now he's helping Sting. I don't get this at all. This is one of those head scratchers in AEW that just doesn't make sense. Chris says, why do you think they're teasing Sting and Darby versus Sky and Page? I thought it was Archer versus Sting. Hey, your guess is as good as mine, bro. And this person says, do you see Christian capturing the AEW World Heavyweight Championship before the end of 2021? I don't think he captures the AEW World Heavyweight Championship ever. Ever. And this person says, Kenny having the Impact and AEW World Heavyweight Championships. Do you see Omega defending the title, Impact World title on AEW? No. Kenny's next defense of that Impact title will be May 15th at Under Siege. Will he defend it on Dynamite? Fuck no. I'm surprised Moxley's defending the U.S. title. when that graphic popped up on my screen, when they say, jaw fell to the floor. No, it fucking went up. Oh, fuck. Basically. It says, do you think it's just a split of a loss or turn Kaz heel? Just a split. I don't think they turn. They would ruin the whole story they've been telling. They're best friends. They've been friends forever. There's been many iterations of them together as a team. And Daniels thinks maybe it's time for him to stop. So Kaz said, hey, give me one last run. And with that one last run, he said, if we lose, we're no longer a tag team. I don't think they're going to turn Kaz heel. No, he'd be a good heel. Trust me, we've seen Kazarian as a good heel. But it's not needed. Vegeta Lover says, everyone's in a group. Yes, they are. AEW thinks they're New Japan, but at least New Japan, the way they book, they need everybody in groups because they do a lot of 8 and 10 man tags. AEW just does a lot of everybody's in a group so we can get them on TV and say that this is why they have to be at ringside. 50 guys are at ringside. Do they all need to be there? Fuck no! But with that, guys, that's going to do it for tonight's review of AEW Dynamite. I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited. YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember, you can follow us on social media. Give me 1 second to look something up. Someone just messaged. I want to double check something before I read this text message. Click. No. Okay. No. Not going to read this text message because I didn't think this was real. Someone's like, did you hear the news of blah, 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 blah? No. And I don't think it's real. And it doesn't seem real. But regardless, follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD. Follow us on Instagram by searching for Pro Wrestling Unlimited. And follow us on Twitter at PW Unlimited. Now, here's the thing. If you are a Tier 2 mid-card subscriber on either patreon.com/PW Unlimited or over on YouTube as a channel member, we're doing something special for you guys this Friday. 11 to right between 11 and 11:30, more close to 11:30 a.m. Pacific, 2:30 p.m. Pacific. Nick and I will be live, and we'll be doing a live watch-along for Kenta Kobashi versus Samoa Joe from Ring of Honor. This match is great. It's about 30 minutes or so of a match. We're going to watch it with you guys. We're going to talk about it, and it's the main focus, not main focus, but the main, so if you guys haven't checked out our new podcast, the new PW Unlimited podcast, every week, Nick and I focus on a specific match that we say, hey, this is a badass match. Go watch it, and then we talk about it. Well, now, not only are we saying go watch it, come watch it with us before we actually talk about it on the pay-per-view. So this Friday, 11:30 a.m. Pacific, 2:30 p.m. Pacific, we will be watching this match for channel members and Patreon subscribers live on the channel. So come hang out, watch this match with us. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a doozy. With that, guys, along with that, we also will be back on Friday night for Friday Night SmackDown. Have a great night, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.